Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Bashem Al Shahakodash Bashem. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of you elect out there. Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video, Tucker Carlson did not want you to see this interview. So this was put up by, oh, by the way, this was sent to me by Apostle Rhyme maybe an hour and a half ago or so. And I just got a chance to watch it, into watching it. I watched some of it. I'm going to play it. This video was put up by We Woke Now, which we're familiar with them, or the group. What I want to do is I want to play the video in its entirety. If the We Woke Now has a problem with that, just please put something and I'll take it down. I'm just doing it because I'm featured in this. Let me see if I can find me. I'm featured right there, around about the 6-minute mark. As you can see, me talking to Tucker Carlson. Because Tucker Carlson had made a statement that he had interviewed to talk to somebody that was a Hebrew Israelite, but it's not documented, which it is documented. He knew that there was a camera right in front of him. You know, now he's questioning these brews about, you know, DNA tests. You know, if you do the research, you ask Google, for example, can you get a DNA test in Israel? And they were saying no, but they say you got to get a court order. Why would you get a court order when in America and around the world you can do it? Because is it because they don't want to find out that their line does not go back to Israel, that they're not the people? And this is what Tucker Carlson is talking about. So anyway, what I'm going to do is the water to the apostle for sending this to me. And like I said, this is not my video. This is owned by We Woke, but I'm featured in the video. Tucker Carlson did not want you to see this interview. Let me just open this. Anyway, so the truth is coming out. You can't hide from the truth. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and play it from the beginning. Listen up. It's a half an hour long. Let me just go ahead and play it.
For over
No
40
commercials.
years, Life Engine has been helping people like you balance.
Abram's descendants are the ones who have the right to have this land, correct? Yes. Why don't we do genetic testing on everybody in the land and find out who Abram's descendants are? It's really simple. We've cracked the human genome, we can do that. We've cracked the human genome, we can. We've cracked the human genome, we can do that. As for the Nazi thing, I really felt like we were just speaking so far past each other that we would never come to. It's like, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. And and especially when I decided or concluded that he really meant it, I was like, that's just too freaking weird to me. It's almost like, yeah, I can think of many other examples where you're interviewing someone else, say something that's like, I was interviewing a guy one time and he started talking about the black Israelites and we're the real Jews. And I was like, you know, and it wasn't on camera, but I was like, it was so far out to me that I was like, we'll never kind of understand common terms on that.
This is interesting. Very, very interesting. You just heard Tucker Carlson say, quote, I was interviewing a guy one time and he started talking about the black Israelites and we're the real Jews. And I was like, you know, it wasn't on camera, but I was like, that was so far out to me that I was like, we'll never kind of understand common terms on that. Who was he referring to in that clip you just watched? Initially, I believed Tucker Carlson was referring to the leaked footage from his interview with Ye, but I later realized I was mistaken. I want to thank everyone who forwarded me the actual footage from an off-camera interaction he had with a Hebrew Israelite camp known as GMS, which is based in New York City. Before I continue, I want to make something clear. Not all Hebrew Israelites are part of or affiliated with any camp. Being a Hebrew Israelite is not a religion, unlike what is commonly described as being a so-called Jew. A Hebrew Israelite refers to bloodline descendants of the ancient Israelites. The label Black Hebrew Israelites functions much like the label Black Identity Extremists.
I would like to ask Mr. Chair unanimous consent to enter this report into the record, which is Black Identity Extremists likely motivated to target law enforcement officers. I believe earlier you said you were not familiar with the report. Is that correct?
Well, I haven't read it. I know some of the alleged targeting of officers by
Okay, so I would
group.
like to know, and I'll ask you about that in a minute. So you are somewhat familiar with it. Who had the power in your department to order a report like this?
I'm not sure how that report got ordered. I don't believe I explicitly approved it or directed it.
Okay, so you haven't necessarily read the report, but you are familiar with the term Black Identity Extremists?
Well, I think so, yes.
So can you tell me what that term means to you? Do you believe that there is a movement of African Americans that identify themselves as Black Identity Extremists, and what does that movement do?
Well, it'd be interesting to see the conclusions of that report. But I'm aware that there are groups that do have an extraordinary commitment to their racial identity, and some have...
Yeah, like the Small Hats in 1948. So is there anything wrong with that?
Transformed themselves even into violent activists.
Are you aware of white organizations that do this as well? Given that white...
Watch this guy, he all of a sudden, he don't know what that's all about. I show you that this is a racist society, a racist system.
White supremacy is well-documented, well-researched movements such as the neo-Nazis, the Ku Klux Klan, etc. Are they white identity extremists?
I didn't follow that question, please, again.
Is there a term or a...
Bunch of devils. They get mad when we call them devils. This is a devil doing what he do. Being the devil.
Report on white identity extremists. You mentioned you were familiar with black people who identify with their racial identity.
Yes, but it's not coming to me at this moment.
Not coming to you?
I can't think of a what's the black white identity. I can't think of. I'm sorry, I can't think of nothing. You mean to tell me you can't think of the KKK, neo-Nazi party, Aryan race? White identity, which they claim to be Israelites, which is featured in the Megiddo. What is it? The Megiddo, Project Megiddo. Project Megiddo came out in 1999, and it mentioned the so-called Black Hebrew Israelites, and it also mentioned the white identity movement. The reason why they met the Project Megiddo mentioned those two groups, because both of those groups say that their line goes back to the Israelites, which includes, like I said, the white identity movement. When it says white identity movement, that means they're identifying themselves with, do the research. Don't take my word for it. Never take my word for it. Always do the research. Become researchers, okay? They say that their line goes back, like, for example, they might say the white Europeans in England are the tribe of Manasseh. You know, the Europeans in America are the tribe of Dan, or whatever the case may be. Now, some of them, mind you, are Israelites. You got to tell them that, you know?
It's
certainly a group such as the Ku Klux Klan.
Yes, and then the skinhead movements, but there's a racial identity white movements that have been identified for sure.
So has the FBI done a report on white identity extremists that are likely motivated to target law enforcement officers? Is there such
I'm not
a
aware
report?
of that.
Both are strawman terms that have been promoted through government agencies and amplified by religious institutions such as Christianity, Catholicism, Judaism, and Islam, along with advocacy organizations like the ADL. These labels are used to construct a simplified and often misleading narrative that can then be easily criticized or dismissed. The reality is that within this awakening, Hebrew Israelites do not refer to ourselves as Black Hebrew Israelites. That label was created externally and applied broadly in order to frame the movement in a particular way. For clarity, I am not affiliated with any of the camps. The thoughts and opinions expressed in the upcoming clip do not reflect the views, beliefs, or positions of this platform, We Woke Now. With that said, here is the video of that interaction.
Whether you're a professional or just love getting hands-on with your home projects, Harbor Freight.
I know you from somewhere, right? You know, a news cancer.
Yeah, he's from the news.
What is it? You know about us. Are you Jewish? Are you Jewish? What are you? Italian?
Christian.
Oh, really? What does the word Christian mean?
No, somebody who follows Christ.
Okay, good. He says someone who follows Christ. You talking about the Christ in the Bible?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, what color is that Christ?
No idea.
No idea. So you don't read the Bible?
Yeah, I've read the whole thing, actually.
You read the whole Bible?
Yes, I did.
So then you would know the color of Christ.
I don't remember that being mentioned. I may have missed it.
Give me that. Since he missed it, we're going to refresh his memory. Since he read the whole Bible.
Revelation chapter 1, verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot.
That's John the Revelator seeing a vision of the Lord coming down from heaven.
Clothed with the garment down to the foot, and girt about the head with the golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like a fine brass, as if they burned in the furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters.
Now go back to his hair.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
What does it mean by his head and his hairs were white like wool? What do you think? Okay, that's that. Well, he had gray hairs.
Right, yeah.
You have young people. There's this girl I know who grew up with. At the age of like 23, she got a full head of gray hair,
Yeah, I've
white
seen
hair.
that. It's weird.
That's from peroxide.
ministry is 30.
Hydrogen peroxide
30 years
coming through
old.
your system, like you. That's from peroxide. Okay, that's within your system. So instead he had white hair, but see this individual right here. He was a spy. I knew he was a spy, and we finally caught up with his ass, kicked him out the camp. Day one, I said, nah, something about this guy. I can smell a spy from a mile away. What else did it say? And then he joined with the AOC. He joined with them guys. And I wanted to tell him this guy's a spy, but he said, see, Tahar, no, the guy leave your camp because he don't like you guys. He come with us, and now you jealous. That's why you saying he's a spy. So you don't tell these other camps nothing. Let them learn the hard way.
Like wool.
Like wool. So it's talking about the texture of his hair. Who has woolly hair? You don't know who has woolly hair? Come on. Esau's a master at playing fucking stupid, man. You gotta anticipate that. You gotta know that when you corner these devils, they play stupid. And like when you're dealing with the police, they question you, you play fucking stupid. Does this hair look? This is the perfect example. Does this hair look woolly to you?
Yeah.
I would have to bring out the spy. That's good. That's a spy. That's a guy. He was an agent, and we caught up with that dude, man. And he got nervous, like we're gonna pop him or something. Like we ain't the mob. What are you kidding me? Okay, good. So what would you say when you? So you know what's gonna happen to this guy right here? He gonna get the chip, and the Most High gonna destroy him. You can't repent, bro. You was a Judas Iscariot, and you still got a bunch of Judas Iscariot. Every camp, I would say this. I'll be bold enough to say this. Every camp in the GMS and other camps, they have Judas Iscariots in them camps. They're spies, agents, whatever you want to call them. So when you get friendly with somebody, in the back of your mind, you say, this guy might be a fucking spy. When you read that all over again, read it again.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
Meaning his head and his hairs, the hairs on his face, because they wore beards, because that was pursuant to the law, and the hair on the top of his head was also white and woolly. What people do you know on the planet Earth have woolly hair?
Africans.
Okay, good. So you're saying that the blacks in this country, the so-called Negroes, Are you saying that they're Africans?
Descent. No, they're Americans.
But are you saying that the so-called... And by the way, this is Tucker Carlson, right? As you can see. When he rolled up, the first thing I asked him, because I couldn't remember his name, but I knew this dude when he was on CNN. That's how far back this guy goes back. Oh, he's a Fox guy. No. He was on CNN some years ago. Then he went from CNN to MSNBC. He was a regular on MSNBC. Then from MSNBC, he kind of disappeared, and then he wound up on Fox News. Now he has his own thing. So this is the time when he was on Fox News. So I said, this is one of the guys from Fox News. And I knew his name. See, they figure Negroes don't watch talking head shows. Negroes don't watch talking head shows. You know, they watch baseball, boxing, music, and BET and all that. So I forgot his name. It wasn't in my head. And I said, aren't you a newscaster on cable TV? And he said, and it looked like he was lying, like he shook his head, like, no, if the We Are Now goes to that, they'll see it. He said no, so I caught his ass in a lie. Then after he left, I said, Tucker Carlson, that's the dude's name. But like I said, I knew the guy from the CNN days, showing you that we checks out every goddamn thing. The Negroes, the African Americans, right? All right. Are you saying that they descend from Africa?
Yeah.
And thank you to We Woke Now for playing this. You know, I guess it's giving us free advertisement. So, thank you for playing this, and it's getting out. And you know, Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Barak. We Woke Now. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Barak meaning blessed. I hope we both now believe in the New Testament as well. I don't know. I know they're Israelites. They used to be. The main guy I believe his name is Kelly. He's it should be in the I believe Richard Kelly or something like that. I guess he was a church person, church pastor that, you know, started to believe that he was an Israelite, him and others. And you know, Vocab Malone was messing with them too, and he threatened Vocab to sue him. You don't got to sue Vocab Malone. You have fun with that guy. You know, you just have fun with him. Anyway.
Yes.
I'm cutting to the chase.
Why am I going?
Because you're an Edomite. You're an Edomite. What's your nationality?
American.
That's not a nationality. What's your national origin?
No idea. I was born in California.
Okay, well. And so all these Edomites, they don't know that they're Israel. They don't know that they're Edomites. They're clueless. They don't know what's going on. Nero doesn't know he's an Edomite. Nero doesn't even know he was Nero in the previous life. What's your father? Was he Irish? Okay, so I guess he may be Irish, right?
He's not Irish.
Is he Jewish?
Swedish.
Well, you better hope that you're an Israelite. But anyway, give me. If he's a small hat, then he's going into captivity. You know, he might be. You know, he comes straight forward in them interviews. You know, he acts like he's seeking after the truth, or that could be an act. But at the end of the day, he looks like an Edomite. Okay, we take it that he's an Edomite, unless he prove otherwise. If he's an Irishman whose line go back to the Moors, then he's good. Give me Isaiah 14:1.
Wait, but why am I going in this?
If you're a so-called white man, if your line goes back to the Edomites, do you know anything about Edom or Esau?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you know about Edom or Esau?
Well, Esau.
He knows about Edom. I'm surprised he knows about that.
Brother Esau? Jacob's brother?
Jacob's brother.
Yeah.
Okay, who are the descendants of Jacob?
I think the Jews, and then the Arabs are the descendants of Esau.
Are you talking about the white Jews?
There you go.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 8 states, Now he that planteth and he that watereth are one, and every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor. From what we can see, it appears that the camps were the ones who first planted the seed during Tucker Carlson's encounter with them. In the video clip, when Tucker was asked, who are the descendants of Jacob? He responded by saying, the Jews and the Arabs are the descendants of Esau. Then one of the elders in the video then asked a follow-up question for clarity. Are you talking about the white Jews? Tucker Carlson responded, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Who are the
God bless
descendants?
you.
Who are the descendants of Jacob?
I think the Jews, and then the Arabs are the descendants of Esau.
Are you talking about the white Jews?
There you go.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
In that exchange, it was the Hebrew Israelite Camp GMS that introduced the question regarding the authenticity of the people commonly referred to as the white Jews, or the Israelis who currently occupy the land of Israel. In other words, they planted the seed. Later, figures such as Ye and Candace Owens brought further attention to the conversation, effectively watering that seed. And as the scripture says, it is the Most High who gives the increase as more people began questioning the historical and genealogical claims surrounding the community, commonly known.
For the record, it started with GMS. Remember that. Remember that. GMS.
Today as the Jewish people, whom I refer to as the 1948ers.
And all of this was justified on the basis of this identity that is the ticket to the right that you keep referring to. So my question is very simple. I'm going to wait patiently for an answer. Does this right derive from religious affiliation or from genetics?
Meet Popwell, the better-for-you refreshment with cold crafted flavor. Love at first pop.
If you are sleeping in a position like this, you are wrecking your body and your breathing. Obstructive sleep apnea happens when...
So you just came from Paris Fashion Week, you just landed, and a lanyard's still on from it, and there's a photograph on it. What is that?
It's a photograph of a baby's ultrasound.
Why is that? And that you designed that?
Yes.
Why? What does that mean?
It just represents life. I'm pro-life.
Boy, so you wear it on a badge. What kind of response do you get? And good, amen, I agree.
I don't care about people's responses. I care about the fact that there's more black babies being aborted than born in New York City at this point. That 50% of black death in America is abortion. So I really don't care about people's responses. I perform for an audience of one, and that's God.
I'm starting to see why they want to make you be quiet. When did you start to feel this way? When did you start to realize this?
Why would Tucker Carlson say to Kanye West or Ye, I'm starting to see why they want to make you be quiet? Think about that. Ye made a number of provocative statements, but what was it that caused Tucker Carlson to respond that way? Now listen to the unaired leaked footage from that same interview. It provides clarity as to why Tucker made that comment.
Planned Parenthood was made by Margaret Sanger, a known eugenics with the KKK, to control the Jew population. When I say Jew, I mean the 12 lost tribes of Judah, the blood of Christ, who the race, the people known as the race black, really are.
Again, Ye said, quote, Planned Parenthood was by Margaret Sanger, a known eugenicist with the KKK, to control the Jew population. When I say Jew, I mean the 12 lost tribes of Judah, the blood of Christ, who the race, the people known as the race black really are. Now, before some of you rush to post emotional or hostile comments, pause for a moment and really listen to what Dr. Stephen Pidgeon, CEO of Sefer Publishing Group, the publisher of the Sefer translation of the Bible, has stated regarding the origins and intent of Planned Parenthood.
Hitler was, and the Nazis, of course, expanded on Margaret Sanger's approach to eugenics, right? Eugenics was a movement that was born in the United States under hard doctrines of racism with the intent of eliminating the tribe of Judah in the African-American community in this country, right? To eliminate them.
Let his words settle in. He did not stutter. He did not hesitate. He stated plainly, quote, Hitler and the Nazis expanded on Margaret Sanger's approach to eugenics. Eugenics was a movement born in the United States under hard doctrines of racism, with the intent to eliminate the tribe of Judah and the African American community in this country, to eliminate them. Whether one agrees or disagrees, these are statements being made publicly by figures within religious and political spaces. Many of you through the lens of European supremacy and the framework handed down through the so-called Abrahamic faith traditions, Judaism, Catholicism, Christianity, and Islam, have been conditioned to accept very narrow definitions of who qualifies as the so-called true Jews. You may accept modern Arabs. You may accept modern Palestinians, most of whom trace lineage through centuries of Turkic Ottoman and Turkic Arab migrations. You may accept Asians. You may accept certain Ethiopian communities. But when the descendants of enslaved Africans, the so-called Negroes of the Americas, assert a connection with actual sources and actual DNA testing, something the 19...
Yeah, we don't need this DNA. We need the spirit. Romans 8, verse 16 on down. That's all we need is the spirit. The spirit itself bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Heavenly Father, that the spirit is the book. And another thing, based upon Deuteronomy 28, verse 64, and then as many times as you can look up, do a word search on the word scatter or scattered, but I use that particular verse right there, Deuteronomy 28, verse 64. Did I say 64 or 68? 60, I meant to say 64 if I didn't say 64. It speaks about us being scattered throughout the whole planet Earth. So anybody can say they're an Israelite. Anybody can, even the small hats, the tiny tops, they can actually say that they're Israelites. Now, we'll find out whether they truly are, because some of them are. Like I said, some of these Aryan white identity movement people that claim that they're the descendants of Israel, some of them are. I don't know the percentage. Remember, Israelites' seed, their seed was scattered throughout the whole planet Earth. So you got Israelites among every nation. But, you know, so if so-called Negroes say they Judah and the Puerto Ricans say that they Ephraim, they can very well be Judah and Ephraim.
.48ers are forbidden to do to Israelite identity. Many react as if it is the ultimate offense, as if it is the greatest level of disrespect.
And you know, an Italian American can change his name to a European so-called Jewish Weinstein, Joseph Weinstein. He has some bogus records that this is grandmother, this, that is, you know, my great-grandmother, my great-grandfather, my line goes back on my mother's side to the Jews, and they'll accept him in, not knowing that he's actually Italian. Am I right or wrong?
Respect. Why? That reaction itself is worth examining.
This is a trainer, but come to find out, he's actually Canadian intelligence, but this is my trainer. So this shows you the kind of handlers that are around the superstars in California, right? So it says, I'm going to help you one of a couple ways. First, you and I sit down and have a loving and open conversation, but you don't use cuss words. And everything that is discussed is based in fact, and not some crazy stuff that dumb friend of yours told you or you saw in a tweet. Second option, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you and you go back to zombie land forever. Play date with the kids just won't be the same. This is the way a Hollywood trainer was talking to me to force me to go and apologize. You think about if Harley was part of intelligence, right? What kind of people you think are surrounding my kids? What kind of people you think are in that house?
Healthy plants guaranteed to thrive, handpicked for you. That's what FastGrowingTrees.com delivers.
Hey, sorry for missing your calls. Yeah, the journey on Rocky Mountain has been incredible so far. It feels like you can
But very few people took that claim seriously. In fact, it was exactly the kind of thing a crazy person would say. My trainer drugged me into submission. He's trying to make me into a zombie. Right. Sure he did. Have another olanzapine shot, Kanye. You look tired. So that's where the story stood until the other day. Nobody believed Kanye West. Then West posted something remarkable on Twitter, which for some reason virtually all of American media ignored, which is odd because media outlets are not usually in the business of ignoring remarkable things, but they did. And what he posted was a picture of a text exchange that he had had with Harley Pasternak. Pasternak was explaining that West had better stop saying, quote, crazy stuff. In other words, he'd better get back on script, or else he would be severely punished. Quote, second option, if you don't shut up, quote, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you, and you go back to zombie land forever. Play date with the kids just won't be the same. Try if you can to imagine a more sinister threat than that, a more chilling threat than that. Do what I say or I will turn your brain to mush. I will destroy your relationship with your own children. I will send you back to, quote, zombie land forever. Effectively, I'll kill you. Now keep in mind, this is from West's, quote, trainer, not his physician. This is the guy he'd hired to help him do squats. A trainer? Really? Did they talk like that at your gym? Probably not. So what's going on here exactly? Well, according to his bio, Harley Pasternak, who is not denied writing these texts, once worked for the Canadian military, where he participated in experiments that measured the effect of various drugs on the human mind. Is that training relevant to this story? We don't know. We do know that based on this text exchange, which again, Harley Pasternak has not said is untrue or fake, on the basis of that, law enforcement agencies definitely ought to be looking very closely at Harley Pasternak, who, by the way, apparently has dozens of other celebrity clients, some of whom seem to be out there campaigning. Based on these texts, this looks like a crime. Why is no one investigating it? The fact that no one is investigating it tells you a lot.
Regardless of how many of you may feel about Ye, you cannot deny that his words and actions triggered a noticeable shift in the public narrative surrounding the 1948ers. The real question is this: what did Ye say to Tucker Carlson off the record that caused such a dramatic shift? Was it simply the leaked footage that we all saw, or was there more said behind the scenes that never made it to the public? Whatever it was, something changed. Tucker Carlson went from downplaying the conversation, saying,
I was interviewing a guy one time and he started talking about the black Israelites and we're the real Jews. And I was like, and it wasn't on camera, but I was like, it was so far out to me that I was like, we'll never kind of understand common terms on that.
Now to publicly raising questions that he had never raised before. He moved from dismissing the claim as far out to suggesting that the Jewish community, as we know it, should participate in DNA testing to prove who they are.
Abram's descendants are the ones who have the right to have this land, correct? Yes. Okay. Why don't we do genetic testing on everybody in the land and find out who Abram's descendants are? It's really simple. We've cracked the human genome. We can do that.
You need a court order in Israel, pal.
Why don't we do that? Would you be against doing that?
Not only did he raise his point in conversation with Mike Huckabee, but he also began questioning the legitimacy of Benjamin Netanyahu's bloodline.
If Bibi's family, we know they lived in Eastern Europe. There's no evidence they ever lived here. He's not religious.
But
in what sense
how do we know that?
Do you have his family tree? No, we don't.
Do you?
When I show you what I'm about to show you, your mind will be blown. You're going to be blindsided. Every single Israeli prime minister has a fake name. Did you know that? I was just talking about Ben Gurion. Do you know what his original name is? It's Gruen. G-R-U-E-N. He changed it to make it sound more Jewish and sound more Middle Eastern. Do you know what Netanyahu's real name is? It's not Netanyahu, it's Milkovsky.
This story begins in October 1949, 1 year after Israel's formation. This is when Netanyahu was born, the second child of a historian. His paternal grandfather was a rabbi and a Zionist writer. His name was Nathan Milikowski. Later in life, he Hebraized his surname from Milikowski to Netanyahu, a name which means...
Well, they got that right. God has given. That's what it means. Actually, it's Yahweh has given. Nathan, give us Yahweh. So they got it pretty much. And they don't notice. They don't say. They won't put out Yahweh. They'll put out God. Dreadful among the name is dreadful among the heathen.
God has given.
This is Yair Netanyahu's DNA test that has been leaked. You can see right there, his Y DNA is RM198. Descendants of RM198 come from Poland, Russia, Germany, and other European countries. Does this look Semitic to you? Does this look Middle Eastern?
Maybe you will ask, who is Mr. Milikovsky?
I did ask, and you told me, but I didn't know before.
He is Benjamin Netanyahu. This is the real name.
Prime Minister or President of Israel.
The colonial settler state of Israel.
I swear to God, go and look it up. You'll find Milkovsky. That's his real name. These are, remember what Israelis are. Israelis are European Jews. They don't come from Palestine, but they want you to make you believe. They want to make believe and make you believe that they come from this area, that they are indigenous to the land, that they're so Jewish, right? Even though they have no connection. So they change the names.
Sparkling Ice Flavor Lab, Stella speaking. Help me choose a sparkling ice. Oh, mini cans, perfect for school lunch if you have a kid.
That is not a minor shift. The tone changed, the posture changed, and the framing changed. So again, what was said off camera? Because something clearly moved the needle.
Tell us more about your work and the coursework that you're doing, because you are a real advocate for this topic and why it's so important in the times we're living in.
I appreciate it. I think the most important thing is like the if so, so what? So we've established that there are these individuals over here, but the next question is, what do we do about it? Is everyone's supposed to convert and come back to Israel? But if we think that way, there's really 100 million people around the world that...
What's this guy's name? Shit. He does teach that that so-called black Americans are Israelites, descended from Israel.
Have this Israelite identity. There's really 100 million people around the world that have this Israelite identity.
There's really 100 million people around the world that have this Israelite identity.
Is there a reason that the Jewish people that represent, and I want to get back to this because you didn't let me finish a while ago, they represent 0.2% of the world's population. In the entirety of the world, there are about 16 million Jews total. In the entirety of the world, there are about 16 million Jews total.
There's really 100 million people around the world that have this Israelite identity.
16 million.
100 million.
16 million.
It's more than that.
There's really 100 million people around the world that have this Israelite identity coming from the tribes. And Israel's, smaller than the size of New Jersey. Is it sustainable to think in the way of having to convert and bring back? And if you look at the Lemba, they don't even want to convert. They said, why are we converting to something we're already part of?
The Lembas are the original Hebrews, and they were scattered, as you know, and they crossed into Africa. So they were scattered all over. So in South Africa, in many parts of South Africa, you find the Lembas who are actually Hebrews.
Hebrews, so the Lembas claim to be descendants of ancient Israelites?
Not claim, they are.
They are?
They are.
Okay.
Lamba's supposed to be the Levites.
We are the original African Hebrew. We are scattered all over.
Have you ever stopped to think about this? How does a nation that makes it illegal to perform a DNA test without a court order claim the authority to question everyone else's DNA in order to determine who does or does not have a connection to the ancient Israelites? That contradiction alone should cause people to pause. Take the Lemba, for example. The Lemba of Southern Africa have been studied for decades. Genetic research concluded that the men were determined to be descendants of Israel, and within that group of men, a percentage were identified as carrying markers associated with the Levitical priesthood line. My own
The Levitical Lemba supposed to be the Levites.
DNA test results show that I am connected to the Lemba. Yet recognition, acceptance, and official acknowledgement have remained complicated and tightly controlled. Now, listen carefully to what the late Lemba elder, Cohen Hamandishi, explained regarding their experience.
So because of my office also in the parliament, they also approached me, the government of Israel. So can you help us to collect some samples of DNA? We want to do our own test because we are hearing about your claim that you are Jews, but we want to do our own test on you. So as I told them that it's not easy to go and tell someone that I want to collect your blood. It's not easy. So no, we don't take blood. We take saliva. So that's okay. So they sent me a kit from Tel Aviv. Then I collected some saliva, some DNA samples. It was about 200 from the lemba and about 60 from non-lembas. And I sent it to Israel. So a year later, I went there to Israel to collect the results. And I met a guy at a hotel called the Ramat Rashe Hotel in Jerusalem. So he gave me the results. So he said, we were talking, we're sitting in the lounge. He said, do you see that? Because in Israel, there's a lot of black people, black boys doing the manual work, they sweep the roads, they run around, they sweeping. It's only found in the Levites. But up to today, they haven't given me the results.
He described how testing was conducted multiple times, how the community was not fully provided transparent access to their official results, and how there were attempts to reinterpret or minimize their percentage. According to his account, those efforts did not weaken their case. Instead, subsequent testing increased the percentage indicators rather than reducing them. The broader question remains: why is DNA embraced when it validates certain groups, but restricted or heavily regulated when it raises uncomfortable questions about others?
What's your thoughts? Please be respectful with your comments. Also, please click the like, click the notification bell, and subscribe to this channel.
Listen, Genesis chapter.
Okay, so we're going to close on to the next Shalom.